her career into making a difference in the lives of underprivileged girl child through education. Please join us in welcoming Ankita Bhandari, Operations Manager at an esteemed NGO that is committed to empowering girls from economically challenged backgrounds by providing them access to education. Uh, Ankita, we are very excited to hear your insights on the nonprofit sector and your experience. Welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mahima. Thank you, Mahima, for the great introduction that you've given.
Great.
Glad to be here.
Tell us a bit about yourself and your career so far.
Okay, so I am Ankita. Professionally, I did my MBA. So I completed my MBA and Masters in Business Law. And after that, I started teaching. And while teaching postgrads and graduate students, I realized that there's a need to work on elementary education. And that is how I was motivated to join the social sector and work on education there. So yeah, currently I'm working in Jaipur with an organization called Vimukti, and we are working for underprivileged girls.
Great. And can you share any personal experiences or stories that have shaped your passion for this cause?
Any personal story would actually just be my own schooling and how my friends and all, we all came from a normal middle class background, and we saw the difference, like by learning English, other languages, other subjects, we could realize that there is a difference, but that was still okay because we were from the same category. Only a few were from a different category. And then when I went to teach, there I realized that students who come from a poverty-ridden background and from rural background face a lot of challenges, specifically challenges in the way they have been taught. So the level on which they receive higher education is completely different. So a person who has received good quality education at school level is bound to excel in career and profession. So there's a need to level that playing field for all of them. So yeah, that was my inspiration.
It's great that you recognize that gap and you went and worked for it. So yeah, amazing. And what educational or professional qualification do you believe are important for individuals interested in working in NGOs? Any specific skill sets?
So Mahima, basically social sector is a very vast sector, and in every field of life, in every sphere of life, there is a requirement of the social angle of it. For example, food, education, health, sanitation, everything requires an angle where there can be a socially motivated organization to work for the welfare of the society. So there is no specific academic qualification, there are no specific career paths that are already designed there for someone to follow. But if you feel passionate about any of these causes, you can do whatever you're doing. You can be an engineer and yet be very helpful in social sector. You can be a doctor and work on the social side of being a doctor. So it is an open field and a vast industry, I would say.
That's interesting. And to follow up, can you shed light on the different career paths and opportunities available for individuals interested in working in NGOs?
Right. So as I said that you can come from any background, a good knowledge about what a social sector entails can be great. So if you're really interested in only pursuing a career in the social sector, then you can go for masters in social work. So whatever you've done at your grad level, you can just understand in the context of social sector how that can be relevant. So if I did my MBA and I came to the social sector and I realized that I can help here in managing things, in organizing things, in maybe simply planning and executing things. So every profession has a space in the social sector. It's the same as a regular business model. It's just that a normal business model would be a profit-making organization and NGO are non-profit-making organization. So you can follow any career path and get into the social sector.
That's great to know. And When we think of NGOs, we think that it's non-profit. So making an income is kind of, a dicey subject. And for many of us, it's true that we need to make a living. So what could be the potential entry level pay for, getting into the NGO sector?
Right. So I would also add one thing here. People see NGOs as like, whoever is working for an NGO, that is voluntary service. It's not like that. NGOs are pretty much organized. We also know big names like, CRY working, UNICEF working. These are big names and they have a huge employee base with them. So every organization, when it becomes bigger, it doesn't work on a voluntary model. So if you're really interested in this social sector, in an NGO sector, it's great to start as a volunteer, but then you will find your ways inside employment as well when you get into social sector. Entry level pay would again differ. As I said, that it's not a specific job or career path to follow. So you can be an engineer working in an NGO, you can be a doctor working in an NGO, or you can just be a graduate working in an NGO. So it will really depend on what skill set you bring in and how much is the requirement. And you can start at 5,000, you can also start at maybe 30,000, 40,000. So it depends on what you bring to the table.
That's an interesting insight. So thank you once again for joining me today and sharing your very valuable experiences with us. Your dedication for providing education to girls for financially disadvantaged background is truly commendable. And I'm sure it will inspire people who are wanting to get into the NGO sector. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.